So my third question, Francisco, is about the impacts of climate change on human health. So what kind of impacts can Portugal expect and Europe expect, and are we prepared for those?
Okay, we actually have been experiencing impacts of climate change during this century already. And I'd like to give you two examples. One, which is quite important, is the fact that heat waves are increasingly in terms of frequency and also in terms of magnitude. And the number of deaths in 2003 was quite high in all Europe and also in Portugal. We found out that premature deaths increased by a few thousand during the heat wave in 2003. And that happened again with other heat waves that Portugal already experienced. And that is one of the extreme meteorological phenomena that will come up with climate change, with a higher frequency and a higher intensity.
Okay.
So that is quite important for a country like Portugal, but for Europe as a whole, because it's something that people can understand how to live in climate extreme weather, where we can reach extremely high temperatures for a certain number of days.
And do you think we are prepared for this? I mean,
we're getting ready. You know, after the 2003 heat wave, a lot of precautionary plans were developed by the Ministry of Health in Portugal and by other ministries to actually have kind of a procedure in the case of a heat wave to give recommendations to people, particularly elderly people, on how to behave and about the cares that they should take during those periods. A second example, just quite brief, is ozone. Ozone, which is quite helpful in the stratosphere. It saves us from the ultraviolet rays.
But in
the problem is that in the troposphere, so on the surface, ozone is quite dangerous because we actually it enters our respiratory system and can damage our lungs and
or even
eyes,
exacerbate some diseases.
Like asthma, for instance. And the problem is that ozone has a direct relationship with temperature. Higher temperatures, not necessarily a heat wave, will have higher health impacts.
But we need the precursors there as well.
That's true, but that is also related because when we have higher temperature, a lot of natural sources, for instance from the trees, the hydrocarbons from the trees, they actually those volatiles will come up to the atmosphere in a higher quantity, in a higher amount, and they will mix with the other compounds to generate ozone. So that's one of the problems of climate change in terms of the increasing of temperature during a certain number of days per year.